because it'll get posted up there later. Spider-Man No Way Home. Spoiler review, guys. This is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it yet, you may not want to hear my thoughts on this. I'm fresh out of the theater for the second time, and I gotta tell you this. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic theater experience I haven't had in ages. People were cheering, crying, applauding. It's a roller coaster up and down. And I totally recommend that you go out and see Spider-Man No Way Home this weekend. I know this isn't the official poster, but whatever. It just has some things in there that we're going to talk about in the spoiler review. And I just got to tell you my feelings after. It's kind of like I was really happy to watch it, and I was so excited. But then afterwards, I'm feeling like I want to watch more. I want to stay with those characters. I want to be in that universe. Everybody does a fantastic job. Tom Holland is fantastic. Zendaya is going to be a huge star. Huge. She's phenomenal. And just the way that these bad guys come in, it's beautifully done. I like how Doctor Strange helped do all of this stuff. And then it has that kind of sad tone at the end where it's kind of like, is this the end? Is this the end of Spider-Man in the MCU? What's going on here exactly? So let's just get the elephant out of the room right now. The poster, that's not the poster now. This is what people really want to know. And yes, they are in it, and they're in it more than the final scene. You would think that maybe they would just put them in at the end as a 5-minute fight at the end, but they're actually in it a bit more, and they talk about stuff. They talk about, Andrew and Toby talk about their versions of Spider-Man. It's just so well done, and it feels so organic. It felt so organic how they were brought in. I was so happy to see that they both get to have a chance of having a swan song with Spider-Man, that we get to close off some issues and welcome back some relationships like the way they had with their villains. Andrew Garfield he just brings so much weight to Spider-Man. You can tell that he loves being Spider-Man. And this movie, just the way he's delivering his dialogue, you can't be... I'm so happy that he got a chance to be Spider-Man again. And same with Toby. And those are the two moments where the theater just started roaring. Oh my God, I'm out of battery. What? I feel like I want to get on the camera and I want to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, because it's such a roller coaster of up and downs, and it makes you feel like you want more. And the way that I can feel I can get more is if I talk to you guys and just get my thoughts out about the theater, about the movie, because it's so awesome. Spider-Man No Way Home, guys. No Way Home. Go see it in the theater this weekend if you can, because it's fantastic. There's going to be at least one or two big moments in this where the theater is just going to start cheering and roaring, and it's one of the best movie experiences I've had in a while in the theater. And you gotta, for that reason alone, you guys got to go out and experience it, because it's something that when everybody's cheering, you're going to be cheering. When everybody's crying, you're going to be kind of like, I myself started to feel a little choked up at times from this movie. So I got to tell you, this is by far the best Spider-Man movie that has been made thus far. That's the only way I can describe it, because of things that happen in it. Now, let's just talk about the main thing that everybody wants to know right up off the bat. Yes, they are in it. Toby and Andrew are in it, and they're in it more than just the final scene at the end, the final fight. And that's great, because they get a few scenes to actually develop some of the chemistry they have with each other. And they get to close off some storylines with some of the characters they had and their thoughts and their piece. They get to say their piece. And it's just so awesome, because Andrew, you can tell that Andrew is somebody that is just so happy that he gets to play Spider-Man. And when he's saying his lines, you just get so you can tell that he's loving it, and it's just awesome to see him get this final swan song. Same thing with Toby. It's just when Andrew comes in, the theater just erupted. And it was just like, wow, I can't believe that this is actually happening. You just feel so happy for it. And Toby is the second time it came, like the theater just exploded, and it was just like, oh, the crowd experience is what makes this movie even better, because it's just kind of like, maybe it's because of the last year and a half or so, but to be in a crowd again and experience things, cheering, crying, or feeling sad at moments, like this movie got me choked up at a couple of times. And we'll talk about that when I go into a little bit more details. But it's just fantastic. It's a fantastic theater experience. And it's going to be something that you'll want to watch again. And that's what I sort of want to talk about, is that I'm out of it, but I want to stay with these characters. The story is just so well done. It feels so organic. Like these guys here, all these bad guys come in, and it feels so organic how they did it, because of Doctor Strange and the multiverse kind of merging these characters in, and they all get a moment to shine. They all get a moment to say their piece, and that's really fun. Okay, so somebody here in the live chat saying Manoj 13, but honestly, I didn't connect or get sacrifices or death of Aunt May. See, now the death of Aunt May is something that it worked for me, because we get the famous line, with great power becomes great responsibility, and it's handled so well. It's just like, oh, okay, so they are saying it, and Marissa Tomei does such a fantastic job of delivering it. Her death is not handled in a classic way, where it's just kind of like she gets shot or gets hit. She gets hit by the Green Goblin, and she gets up and they're talking and stuff like that, and then you just kind of sort of, she's like, wait a minute, no, I'm actually pretty hurt here. And Marissa Tomei did such a fantastic job of it. I'm getting choked up even thinking about it, because it's just handled so well. It's kind of like, okay, I'm fine. No, I'm not fine. It's just, it was handled so well. And talking about the bad guys, like Willem Dafoe coming back into this role, he has a fight with Spider-Man there in the condo complex, and Willem Dafoe is unleashing, and it's kind of like, wow, I forgot how good he was in this role. And they all, as I said before, they all get to have their moments to shine and say their piece, like Dr. Octopus coming in. And it's just, at first I thought maybe the CG, the de-aging would be not all that good, sort of like the Tarkin in Rogue One, but it's not. It's not. It's actually very good, because there are some close-up shots of him, and the de-aging looks great. They must have de-aged Willem Dafoe too, because guys, it's just so well done. Let's just talk about the acting. Let's talk about the acting, because Tom Holland here goes through a range of emotions, and it's just, he's got to be, if you have any doubts that he was not that good of an actor before, this movie solidifies it, that Tom Holland can carry a big movie like this, and he can handle it. It's just so well done from everybody in this. Zendaya, she's going to be huge, really huge, obviously from the other movies too, but I didn't realize it until this one, that she also has got these extra abilities to tap into emotions and sell you them, especially towards the end when they got to say goodbye. I'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the story aspects. But as far as the acting overall, guys, the acting in this is phenomenal. So from that, I would give full points for acting. The directing, I can't really talk about the execution of the story, because the first time you watch it, you're just kind of wanting to, okay, get there. I thought it was going to be like that, but enough was happening that I was kind of like, I was always on board with the ride. I didn't feel like, oh, well, they could have cut that out, or we didn't need to go there. So maybe on the third time that I see this, it'll be kind of like, I'll look for those kinds of things. But for the first couple of viewings, you're not going to be worrying about that kind of stuff, like, at all. So the directing is fantastic. The cinematography is great. You'd be worried a little bit, maybe perhaps at the end when they've got this like CG stage, obviously, where they're doing all the big action sequences, but it doesn't come off like that at all, because once you're seeing all the three Spider-Man swinging together and working together, that's what sells the movie. Oh my God. It's just, oh wow. I can't believe that I saw that. I'm just so thankful that we got this movie. You feel thankful and grateful that they made this movie, and Toby and Andrew came in and said, yes, we'll do this. And Andrew got asked so many times in press interviews for other movies, are you in it? Are you in it? And he kept on saying no. I'm glad that he tried, because I think collectively they could have shown them in the trailers. We all, diehard fans, knew that, yeah, there was like a 90% chance they're in it. But I'm happy that they did it this way, because when they show up, the whole theater just erupts, and that's the payoff. That's the payoff. And yeah, oh God, the cinematography it's just really well done. From just the fights, and as I said, the CG work with the faces, you'd think it would be questionable, but it's not. It's really well done. The cinematography is great. The score is actually really good too. I found myself a couple times going, oh, wait, what's that? That's an interesting score. And it's the kind of score that I want to look at again now here that I'm home. I'll look up the soundtrack and I want to listen to it. Because it's not like the Dune soundtrack where it's kind of like, oh, yeah, that's a really interesting score. Then when you get home and you listen to it, it's kind of like, well, that's just 4 minutes of strings going like this. And it's kind of like, well, that soundtrack doesn't really, No, it's not. The Spider-Man No Way Home soundtrack is not like that. I hope it's not like that, because it really helped accent the emotion and the intensity of things, and the score is great. I want to check it out. The watchability factor obviously is going to be right up there, because you want to watch it again. This movie is probably going to be the highest grossing it's not even post-pandemic anymore, but it's going to be one of the biggest movies of the year, if not the biggest. It's just wow. It's just one of those things where you just go, wow, guys, you got to check this out, because it's so awesome. But I was thinking about the story. Was there any kind of nitpicks that I could get? The only thing I could think of is that, you know how Doctor Strange comes in and starts to instantly say, okay, yeah, I'll help you. I'll help erase the minds of everybody. But that felt like it was fairly reasonable. He even gets angry at Peter for not pursuing all of his avenues first before coming to him. Like, all of that felt really natural. The only other thing I can think of is that, okay, they give that box that he could just press the button to send everybody home. They could have pressed that button maybe after they saved one or two of the bad guys. I think they could have pressed that button, and everybody would have gone home, and presumably he would have had the ability to still remember, like MJ and Ned. Like, they still would have remembered who he was. Now, maybe I missed some nuance there, but I felt like there was something there with the box that maybe could have been suspect. But that's a minor quibble. It's just, you don't really, yeah, that's not important. Okay, so what else? Somebody here in the comments says, I'm Indian, I don't know anything about director. Can you say something about the director, like his past movies? Of course. Let's go take a look at John Watts. Obviously, he did the previous other Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. He did Homecoming, and he did Far From Home. So he did these two, and he's going to be doing possibly the Fantastic Four movie. It says pre-production on his IMDb, so I don't know if that's going to happen. He did Cop Car. Okay, that was an interesting movie with Kevin Bacon, where he plays like this corrupt cop, and these two kids take his car, his cop car, on a joyride. Who was in that? Other than Kevin Bacon, but he did a good job. Let's see what else is in his movie. He's done a lot of TV stuff, guys. A lot of TV stuff. And it looks like he started off doing some music videos as well. But yeah, John Watts, he did a good job. Yeah, and I look forward to seeing more from his work. All right. So just to wrap things up there, it's a story where I feel like you got to talk about it. And when you come out of the theater, you want to talk to other people about it because you want to relish it. You want to absorb as much as you can with it. And for me, as I said, I felt like I want to be with these characters again. Because when the big final fight is over and everybody's gonna saying goodbye to each other because they got to go back to their universes, you started to feel a little bit. And the fact that MJ's memory of him was going to be erased, that's tragedy. That's tragic. That's Shakespearean almost. And I felt like that story was the backbone of what Peter was doing throughout the entire movie, because he was trying to help MJ and Ned to get into the college and stuff like that. And their chemistry works fantastically. Zendaya and Tom Holland just kind of like, they do a fantastic job at selling that final moment, because yeah, when I talked about it before with no sound, I got choked up when they're saying goodbye to each other, and she's like, "Don't forget me, come find me, come find me." And obviously they will do that in the next Spider-Man movie, that who knows when that'll happen. But obviously there's some great story there to be mined. She's going to have to be reminded of who he is. Somehow that symbiote suit is going to get on him. That's something I want to talk about. The post-credit scene with Venom. Now, is Venom actually going to be in the next Spider-Man movie? Because he phased back into his universe at the end, at the bar, right? Is that it? Is that what happened, guys? So Tom Hardy's Venom is not going to be in Spider-Man? They showed him go back, but a little piece of the symbiote suit was left behind in that universe. So I'm guessing that's going to go to find Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the next Spider-Man movie, which they said they're going to make more. So obviously after this movie is going to make some pretty good bank at the box office, guys. But other than that, I can't think of much more to say. That's just it just takes you up and down, and it's just like, I want to watch that again and again and again. All right, guys, that's my spoiler review for Spider-Man No Way Home. Once this finishes uploading from the live, I'll cut out the chunks in the beginning where there's no audio, and I'll start it right in where I turned on the microphone, and you won't see all of that camera switching stuff. I forgot to plug in my camera. All right, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and we'll talk about some of the points maybe that I missed. No BS again. There is a button here for me to do my outro.